Politics is all about possibilities, they say. Nothing is written in stone, neither friendships nor rivalries. More than 70 years back, the United States dropped 2 nuclear bombs on Japan. It was carnage. At least 200,000 Japanese were wiped out. Despite that, the US and Japan are not sworn enemies. Instead, they have cultivated excellent ties. Today, Tokyo is America's most trusted Asian ally. What's the point we're trying to make? That political relationships are always changing, and this change is not natural. It is the product of hard work, compromises, understandings behind the scenes, and a lot of haggling. The question is, are Russia and America ready for this diplomatic dance? For decades, Moscow was Washington's public enemy number one. Every Hollywood movie had a Russian villain. Every US president saw Russia as the final frontier. But the rivalry has diluted in recent years. There are 2 reasons for this. One, the US has pulled ahead of Russia. The 2 countries are not equals anymore. And number 2, the rise of China. The new Washington consensus is clear. Beijing is the bigger threat to the United States. So where does that leave Russia? Is it an old foe now? Is it a bystander to the emerging Cold War? Is it a power that can be co-opted against a bigger adversary? We ask this because Joe Biden wants to meet Vladimir Putin. He wants to settle differences with Russia. It's easier said than done. That's because we're talking about an endless list of disputes and differences. Russia supports every single American rival. It trades with Iran, it buys oil from Venezuela, it backs the Assad regime in Syria, and do not forget, Russian hackers tried to meddle in America's presidential election, first in 2016 and then again last year. A sit-down between Joe Biden and Vladimir Putin will not solve all these issues, because at the center of it is a trust deficit. And Biden's reputation does not help. He's a known Russia hawk. He's from the Cold War generation, a generation that was taught to live in fear of a Soviet missile, which is why he talks about a tough competition with China, but does not flinch before calling Putin a killer. So is there no scope for cooperation? We wouldn't say that. Russia and the US recently renewed a missile treaty. They do see eye to eye on nuclear weapons. What brings them on the same page here? The idea of mutual survival. More than anything else. Nonetheless, it counts as cooperation. So going forward, Moscow and Washington have a lot to discuss. Climate change, for instance, it is a key issue. So is the Arctic. Russia has more energy goals in the Arctic. But how will the world carve up this region? It is the next frontier. The US-Russia talks will be vital to peace in the Arctic. What about China? Where does China slot in? Moscow and Beijing are in a state of undeclared alliance. They support the same regimes. They're both sanctioned by the Americans, and their leaders have a great personal equation. They gift each other ice cream and flip pancakes together. Xi Jinping once called Vladimir Putin his best friend. No surprises there. The Chinese president could probably count all his friends in a single hand. But beyond the praises, is there substance to this relationship? Trade between the two has grown, no doubts there, but political and military integration is missing between Russia and China. If you look at the West, they've got the NATO, they've got the Five Eyes alliance, but there is no Sino-Russian equivalent, at least not yet. So Putin's aggression in eastern Ukraine is largely a solo mission, and NATO is closing ranks against him. US warships are heading to the Black Sea. Is this an attempt at war? If it is, it's not a good one. Take a look at this map. To the south of eastern Ukraine is Turkey. It's a NATO ally, albeit a difficult one. To the southwest, Bulgaria and Romania, again NATO allies. Move further west and you reach NATO heartland, France, Germany and the UK. So the doomsday predictions may be a bit far-fetched. Russia is not even trying to hide its deployments. And that's not a good strategy. But is this a prelude to war? Or is this just Vladimir Putin trying to test Joe Biden's resolve? How far is Biden willing to go to protect Ukraine? Will he bring Ukraine into the NATO? As Vice President, Joe Biden witnessed the annexation of Crimea. Today, the Russian buildup is almost at the same level. Moscow may not pull the trigger this time, but Biden is not taking that chance. At 78, he has the appetite for one Cold War, not 2. So for a change, Washington is choosing its battles. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.